take toward the entire cost of health care. Also, when having your routine annual exam, be sure your doctor or practitioner is not adding lab work not covered by your plan. Know your benefits. Understand what is and what is not covered before receiving services, and always use preferred providers when you can, and use prescription drugs wisely, using generics whenever appropriate. This is Billy Joe Crivello, and it's my job to educate you, the consumer, and provide insurance that is right for your needs. Call me at 805-928-7372.
Does your business offer online or call-in ordering, curbside pickup, or delivery? Are you scheduling patients one at a time for doctor appointments? I'm reaching out to those who are offering these services. Get your message on the air and let your customers know that you are open to conduct business. Call me, Janet Fisher, at 805-503-9945, or email me at janet.knight, spelled with a K, broadcasting@gmail.com. We have special low-cost packages to broadcast your message.
Good morning, 7:33 information now. Coming up, we'll check more local news as part of our local news segment, Time to Talk Food, with our favorite grocery gal, Amy Goldsmith. Amy has helped to launch and grow some of the most well-known brands that many of us eat or at least see on the grocery shelves. She's a food industry insider and lives her life as a food finder, looking for the best new products and trends. You can follow Amy and direct message her any questions through Facebook and also on Instagram at The Grocery Gal. First of all, Amy, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Ben. Good morning.
Well, good morning. We had a listener call in, and we always appreciate that. And this time they were asking about sweeteners, and she wanted to know about sweeteners and sugar substitutes and all that stuff we find on those restaurant tables out there. So what can you tell us about maybe something that would be best for someone using sugar products? What do you recommend?
Well, thank you to the caller. This is actually complicated, and there's really not a one-size-fits-all. If you have a sensitive stomach or diabetes, one sweetener may be better than another. It's also taste, too, by the way. I mean, I think I've mentioned before that I can't use anything with stevia. It's a plant-based sweetener, and the taste is so strong to me, but my husband eats the same thing and has no idea what I'm talking about. So it just really varies per person. So if you have any pre-existing conditions such as diabetes, cancer, or stomach or digestive issues, you can talk to your doctor or registered dietitian about which sweetener or sweetener substitute is best for you.
All right. I kind of know about the stevia situation. I like it, but some people don't. But anyway, can you help maybe break it down a little bit with all these different products?
Sure. So as we've talked about many times, Americans, we eat so much sugar, and it's more than we actually realize. And many prepackaged to-go foods have sugar in it. So if you're not making it yourself, there's probably sugar in it. So we eat so much sugar that berries and fruit, which is meant to be sweet to us, that's supposed to be really sweet and delicious, don't taste all that sweet anymore. In an effort to cut back on sugar, there's this wide range of sugar substitutes and sweeteners, both natural and artificial. And there's really four common types of sugar substitutes. There's artificial sweeteners, there's sugar alcohols, there's something that we call novel sweeteners, and then natural sweeteners. And each has potential benefits and negatives depending on your goals. So for your case, then, like you have diabetes, for instance, artificial sweeteners or sugar alcohols like xylitol might be a better choice because when it's consumed, you're not likely to spike your blood sugar. So, but again, consult with a doctor or registered dietitian if you're not sure of your options.
All right, good to know. We do have Amy Goldsmith, our grocery gal, here on KUHL, the time 7:36. So let's say we go to a restaurant. We'll probably be eating outdoors with everything going on with COVID. And there's the dish on the table with the various color of sweeteners and sugar packets. I go through this every time I have a meal at a restaurant. But which one do you choose? There's so many out there.
Well, this is actually a great way to go through it because we can all sort of visualize it in our head, right? So in that sugar dish, there's sugar, that's the white packet. Then there's sugar in the raw, that's the brown packet, which is still sugar. And then there's artificial sweeteners. And artificial sweeteners are about 200 to 700 times sweeter than table sugar. You only really need a little bit to enhance flavors in food. They add usually no calories and may be beneficial for those, like I said, with diabetes, since they really don't spike your blood sugar. And artificial sweeteners include Splenda, which is sucralose, that's in the yellow packet, Sweet and Low, which is saccharin, that's in the pink packet, and Equal or NutraSweet, which is aspartame, and that's in the blue packet.
All right, so I have heard that saccharin is bad for you. Is that true?
So in the late 70s, tests were done on lab rats, and results suggested that saccharin caused bladder cancer in the rats. And so as a result, saccharin had a warning label on the package for years. But scientists have since learned that rats actually have a precondition to bladder cancer, and there wasn't necessarily a correlation to humans and saccharin. So the warning label is now gone. But look, it's still an artificial sweetener, artificial being the key word here. And as a result, they must be reviewed and cleared by the Food and Drug Administration. So the FDA does provide consumption guidelines that outline, how much you should eat safely a day of these artificial sweeteners, and you can go to their FDA website to check it out.
All right, sounds good. So the rainbow of packets in the dish are basically different artificial sweeteners. So what else is there? What about the items in food brands, or what else can you use maybe for cooking, let's say?
Great question. So the next would be, we've talked about artificial sweeteners. Next is sugar alcohols. The sugar alcohols are low-calorie sweeteners that are about 25% to 100% as sweet as sugar. These are the ingredients that you're reading on the labels. It's xylitol, erythritol, sorbitol, mannitol, maltitol, and maltitol syrup. These are kind of the most popular sugar alcohols that you'll see on an ingredient label. And they're safe, and they're well documented, but they can cause gastrointestinal discomfort, like really bad gastrointestinal discomfort if you have that kind of sensitive stomach that might react to it. And you'll see a lot of these ingredients on nutrition bars. And I have a really close friend who will not go near maltitol because it has a great effect on him. So that's just something to pay attention to as far as sugar alcohols. Your body just doesn't totally absorb it. Then there's something called novel sweeteners, and that's where we get into the stevia. That's the green packet in the dish, stevia, or monk fruit extract. And the brands that you may see for novel sweeteners are Truvia, Sweet Leaf, Nectra, Purelo, and Purevia. And these sweeteners are a little more difficult to categorize because they generally derive from natural sources that are still highly refined. And as I was mentioning earlier, stevia is a plant extract with little to no calories, and it's also much sweeter than sugar. And if you can tolerate stevia, good for you. There's a soda called Zevia that has all the flavors of traditional colas but uses stevia, so there's no calories, and it doesn't have all the artificial stuff in it. For me, novel sweeteners have a really strong and distinct taste. I just can't eat it. I like to think of novel sweeteners like a cilantro. You either like it or kind of indifferent, or you just hate it. That's the same with stevia. You just need to try it.
All right, I guess there's a lot of people in the same boat with you that probably don't like it. So I think as we talked about with, I think some of the milk products and things that basically you have to go out and try it and see if you like it kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then don't forget, the next would be like honey, and those are, more natural sweeteners. There's agave nectar, coconut sugar, honey, date paste, maple syrup, which we all know all this stuff tastes delicious and it's easy to cook with. But these natural sweeteners tend to be high in calories, and they're more similar to sugar. So moderation is key, and it may not be the best option for those who have diabetes. But honey contains more nutrients than a table sugar, and it has antioxidants and minerals and vitamins in it, and it's also easier to digest. But again, it's similar to sugar, and so you just need to pay attention to some of the health risks.
All right, so based on your health goals, you present your present health status and all that. Taste and how your body reacts to the various sweeteners and sugars is how you make your decision regarding some of these, though.
Yeah, correct. And by the way, if you're just looking for something to put in your 1 cup of coffee a day and you don't have diabetes or other pre-existing conditions that's keeping you away from sugar, a packet or a teaspoon of sugar or natural sweeteners, it's going to be okay. One and done, and you're not getting ready to eat a ton of sugar and calories for the rest of the day as well. But, but again, ask your doctor or, again, a retail dietitian in the grocery store. You can look on your grocery store's website and see if the retail dietitian is listed, and then email and ask them for a recommendation for a sweetener.
Right. I guess as long as you're not doing like 50 packets of sugar in a cup of coffee, I guess you're okay, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everything in moderation. Again, and the FDA website will tell you what, safe to eat, how much artificial sweetener it's safe to eat.
All right, 741, Grocery Gal Amy Goldsmith. Now, we wanted to do a follow-up here. Now, last week I was kind of teasing the fact that somebody had told me about something called cheese food. I don't know if you were able to do any research in what you've got regarding, because I've heard of cheese, obviously, a lot of folks have, but what the heck is cheese food?
Well, I can tell you this. I did my research because I didn't know what it was, and it's not food. And that's why I didn't know what it was.
Ah.
Thankfully, I didn't know what it was. Yeah.
So,
but the fact that you know what it is makes me nervous.
Oh, well, you asked me if I had any of this in my refrigerator, and I don't, because I don't really know a whole lot about it. And the only reason why I brought it up is somebody had mentioned it. So, but I guess with labeling, and, we've been talking about that with our past interviews, they have to specify, kind of what it is on the label. But, cheese food for a lot of people, is it cheese or is it not? But you're telling us it is not cheese.
It is really not cheese. It's depending on the product, it might be 50% cheese and 50% of something I just don't know what it could be. So the point is, just throw it away. You don't need to buy cheese food. You don't need to buy fake cheese nowadays. There are so many options for real cheese. Just buy real 100% cheese. There's no need for fake cheese. And so, Ben, I'm glad to hear that you don't have it in your fridge, because I was ready to suggest that I come over and throw out that white bread and that cheese goop food and make a refrigerator makeover.
Ah, okay. Well, I look forward to that food makeover. We have to kind of fit that into my schedule, but I would love to see you up here, but I might be horrified at what you find in my refrigerator.
No, I might be horrified.
Yeah, we both would be horrified together. Well, anyway, we'll work on that. By the way, you can follow Amy and direct message her any questions through Facebook and on Instagram at The Grocery Gal. And, of course, if we do a Ben Heighes food makeover, we'll be sure to follow that up with an interview and all the pertinent information there. Amy, thanks a lot for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Be well.
All right, 744. Don't forget birthdays and anniversary wishes. 928-1440 is my number.
I'd like to introduce you to A Piece of the Past and Home Connection in Solvang. A Piece of the Past offers antique and vintage furniture and collectibles, vintage clothing and jewelry, and chalk paint by Annie Sloan. Home Connection proudly offers unique items, gifts, and furniture made in the USA, including Simply Amish furniture. We both are open 7 days a week, located at 425 Alisal Road in Solvang.
At New Frontiers Natural Marketplace, you'll find great savings throughout the store on your favorite groceries. Save 50% on 7th generation biodegradable laundry detergent.